Tell me about New York, fellas.
I think it was the nation's first capital. Could be wrong.
I'm not necessarily going there.
Okay.
Just
So I didn't
bring
know where
bring.
to start. I just
I
thought,
know. Just bring it back to like 2 days
As I
ago. How about that?
understand, we bought the island of Manhattan from the
Say it. Come on. You always
$24
say it.
in trinkets.
The wax lips. Come
The
on. You
wax
didn't say the wax.
lip.
You always say the wax lips.
We used Devin. I don't even know if we've explained the wax lips joke to
no,
you.
I don't think I've ever heard in 20 whatever years. I don't think I've heard the wax lips joke.
So like the Dutch buying Manhattan for $24. It's always in history books. It's always $24 worth of trinkets.
Yeah.
Um,
So you said about defining the trinkets?
we said about back in college defining what are these trinkets, and the first thing that came to mind was wax lips. So,
And this is one of those times too where like he said it and he laughed at his own joke for an hour. For an hour, he was, and then every single time it's been wax lips every single time.
It's September 2024, and I'm still laughing at the joke.
Do you know my ex's family? Deep in the genealogy that her grandfather got into, they believe themselves to have been part of the Dutch family that owned the island. And there's enough of those people around the country that they have proposed a lawsuit that has been sort of shot down every time, but where they sue the city of New York.
Like per borough, or are they going for the whole thing?
Just Manhattan. Just sue the
Just
city
Manhattan.
of New York for rent payments, back rent payments, essentially.
To like the 1600s or something?
Yeah, that's right. Because it changed hands to the English at some point, but that was not a lawful sale.
Do you
Are
think
we
it was rent
adjusting for
stabilized back
inflation?
then?
Like, what are we doing here? Like,
Look, I'm just
lives
I'm just
taken? Like,
reporting the news.
all right.
Another great story about this guy. So, he's like 94 when I met him or something. And he's talking me through the genealogy at this Thanksgiving or something like that. And he says he was a minister of some kind. So he says to me, "Yeah, what I really love about this stuff is you go back far enough, you always find a hooker."
So,
It was great.
did you enjoy the game? What was the together? It was the game and then the concert.
It was the concert was the impetus for the trip originally, like months and months and months ago. My wife ended up having a business trip the week prior, so she was already there. I drove up on Thursday. I actually thought the concert was on Saturday, so it's a good thing I drove up on Thursday because I was originally going to drive up on Friday, and the concert was on Friday. And
You got
then
the day wrong.
I got the day wrong.
Wow.
I got the day wrong until like 2 days before, and
Yeah.
we've been planning this for a very long time.
And now the act did play a second show on the date Jay thought
That's right.
was our date.
I thought we had the Saturday tickets.
Right, but we had the Friday tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And who was it again?
A band called Krungbin from Houston, Texas.
An opener called Men I Trust.
And an opener called Men I Trust. Krungbin, as I understand it, being the Thai word for airplane. I think directly translated, it's like flying engine or something like that. But they're like a 3-piece funk, psychedelic, mostly instrumental, but not all the time, kind of a jam band, like vibes music. That has like spawned this entire genre of vibes music, like the kind of music that you would imagine being played in like an anthropology.
This is a great selling point right here.
But it's
good
fantastic.
anthropology.
Like a
cool, which are high inside the anthropology.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Flagship anthropology, like 2 floors, maybe 3 floors.
Yeah.
The London location.
That's right.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. It's a really good anthropology.
And then
I am underselling it. This is,
and
I speak for
you were
myself.
looking forward to it. Last time when I talked to you, you were
No. Absolutely. They are Krungbin, my favorite, and we're all old people, so we're not discovering new music all the time. They're probably my favorite like new band that I found in the last like 5 years. They have been the soundtrack to at least the last like 4 summers and associated good vibes feelings.
Nice.
So it was great to see them live. I'd never seen them live, and they delivered. I was worried it was going to be boring. Because listening to it, it's like sometimes it's just like a little like sort of hotel lounge musicy. But it was not boring. There was a significant dance portion of the evening where everybody got up and danced, including your two white friends.
What? What are you saying right now?
No, absolutely. You've seen me dance, Benny, and I think you
But
respect.
it's
I
rare.
think you begrudgingly respect my dance ability,
I
but
mean,
I think I really worked it out at this show. I'm gonna be honest.
you
I think if
work
I was seeing myself from like a distance, I would have been like,
like
that
a
guy
Soul Train
really.
line.
I think that it would have been like, that guy is really feeling it, and I'm impressed by his moves. That's what I can tell is like an aging white man.
That guy's channeling the vibes.
Correct. I was channeling the vibes as to the. I mean, I
You were
was
going to
channeling the
say
vibes.
to the best of your ability. It might have been beyond your ability. That's
That's
the
what I
point of
think.
the vibes.
Exactly. I think I out channeled the vibes. Even I think I channeled
You
more. I
so
channeled more vibes than I was capable of channeling.
you exceeded your expected dance vibe. Is that what it is?
I'm
Is that a
rated for
stat
like
right there?
20 volts of vibes, and I was channeling like 24 volts of vibes.
There was dancing. I can't believe that there
A
was
lot
Yeah.
of
dancing.
dancing. A lot of dancing.
Wow. I would have never. I'd never. No, I don't. I don't. Now I'm trying to think if I've ever seen Devin dance. I mean, it had to. Like in a wedding.
I mean, in the Dominican Republic, you saw me trying to learn merengue, but
Well,
other
that's.
than that, I don't think you probably have.
There was a little. There was a lot of. There was a lot of alcohol. There was a lot of alcohol in the Dominican Republic. So
I'll say
I
this:
don't really remember.
I had to learn how to dance merengue again the next time. I remembered nothing.
That means it was a good trip.
Yeah,
That means it was a good trip. If that was the case, it was a good trip for
that's
sure.
right.
So
But yeah,
then,
no, it was like a
then the next
wonderful evening in New York City as well. It was like, 68, 70 degrees or so. Nice cool breeze.
Cool breeze, big
Absolutely
moon.
clear. Yeah, big moon. Like last day of summer.
Where am I? By the way, where
We
am
are in
I?
Forest Hill Stadium where they used
Forest
to have the
Hills.
US Open.
Forest Hills. Yeah, I know. Forest Hills is nice.
Yeah. Real nice place to see a show. Real nice place to see that show at that time.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And it was a dance event. Like I shot. That should have been the lead. You should have led with that.
Even in the bleachers. I mean, we were in the bleachers. To be clear, we were not down on the floor. People in the bleachers were
And
down.
still the vibe made it all the way up.
The vibe made it all the way up. The vibe carries.
Damn,
Yeah.
that is a good show.
No, they're absolutely one of my favorite. They're in the on the playlist forever.
What? Because especially the both of you for sure have been to more than I have. What makes a good concert outside the music? I mean, obviously the music is awesome. Like, do you have to have that vibe that where you almost feel like you're gonna get up and dance, or like you have to be brought to like, oh my god, I think I'm gonna stand up here. Like, oh my god, this music's so awesome. What is there? Is there a thing you want?
I think it depends on the artist. What you need out of that show depends on the artist. Like I saw Sonic Youth once, and it was like the most still, loud noise feedback I've ever seen, and that was perfect for that show. That's it. That's all I needed out
And
of
you
that.
enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I was there for that. But for this, yeah, I think you want the vibes to carry all the way up to the cheap seats. Like that's what we needed out of this show. And I thought one thing they did really well was play with dynamics. They many times they do this thing where like they kind of cut the music for a second, make you think the songs may be over, and then come right back in a little harder. And they got this build going that way that I thought helped trampoline the vibes up to where we were sitting.
Yeah, for me, it's the kind of like there are shows where if you go and you're not a fan of that style of music, or you just like don't know the songs, especially when everybody else knows the songs, it can be like, why am I here? Um, Devin and I attended a Rush concert a long time ago that we're not Rush people. We were there almost as like a favor.
A favorite
And
to the band?
yeah, the band Rush. Yeah, yeah.
No, the favorite was for the
Oh
for
no,
the band
sorry,
Rush?
sorry. Yeah, no, it was not a favorite of Rush. It was a, it was a favorite to our mutual friend Matt. He who is a fan of the band Rush. And so we were like, he wanted us to go to like experience Rush live, like so that we would get it and potentially be converted.
Did
And we
did you
went
get it, by the way?
Wasn't there also some situation where like he had the tickets and people weren't going with him and he wanted people to come who would pay for the tickets, but then something broke and I never paid for my ticket. I still to this day never had it.
the way I remember this story is that Matt was like, "I'll buy your ticket if you'll go."
Okay.
And then basically that was the same deal for you. It like this was not like a ooh, there are extra tickets like Devin and Jay. You guys go. It was like, I'll buy more tickets so that you will go.
Amazing.
And yeah, no, I never paid and you never
Devin,
paid.
Devin, you can still make it right now. You're acting like
That's true.
we're never gonna see this
Yeah.
fucking man
Right.
again.
We could Venmo
You
Matt
could you could
right
just
now
Don't tell him. I'll Venmo him for Rush tickets, but don't tell him.
with interest.
Yeah, that's right.
So we went to see Rush, and it was outside at one of those, outdoor amphitheater venues. And it absolutely fucking poured on us for like 2 hours. And we went back and sat in the car for like the last 45 minutes of the show. And so like I'm sure that there are people there who are like diehard Rush fans who remember that Pittsburgh show like it was legendary. Man,
you
remember
remember
when
when
it
it
like
rained on us
poured?
the entire time?
Yeah, oh my god, we were screaming our heads off, but for like us, it was absolutely miserable.
It was cold rain too.
Really cold. For
It
like
was
like summer weird like
yeah.
felt like it was 55 degrees outside and pouring, absolutely pouring.
I'm out.
Yeah. But this, on the other hand, as we mentioned, perfect late summer evening, along with like the perfect late summer evening music. It would have been different either listening to this music in May or it would have been different listening to another band at this venue at that time.
Mhm.
So, top 3 concerts ever
Oh boy.
that you've been to.
I could tell you my number one, but after that it gets hard.
Sure.
But
Give me number 1.
uh, Beach House, King's Theater, Brooklyn. Never seen a show like it.
How
End
long?
of their tour,
How long ago?
year and a half, 2 years.
Jay, you number 1? Let's just do number 1. We don't even need the 3.
Man, I don't even know what number one is. I mean, I've seen so many very memorable concerts. I will say one that really sticks in my head was U2 in like 2001. Saw them at the old Civic Arena here in the old Igloo here in Pittsburgh.
Civic Arena.
Um,
Hello.
they always put on. I've seen U2 like 3 times, and they always put on a spectacular show. And I'm not even like the biggest U2 fan in the world. It's just like they put on such a good concert that like I want to go see that concert.
I was 2 feet from Bono at a Salesforce convention once.
That's nice.
Benny, notably, you do not or have not historically seen much live music. I remember when we all went to the Beyonce tour, the
2.
Formation
2
tour.
concerts
2 concerts.
ever.
What's the other one?
It doesn't really. I don't think it really counts, but
It was Rush, wasn't it?
technically, say it again.
I
It
said
was
it was
Rush.
Rush.
It was Rush. It was. I was there. I was there. I was in my car though. I never got out. I just stayed in the car the entire time. Um, no, I saw like a open air concert in like I think it was Dominican Republic way back in the day. But it was like an artist like I wasn't there for the artist, and then I felt like it really wasn't like an actual proper concert experience. Is probably that Formation one. But I've seen tons of people that I like in a club setting, but I wasn't like necessarily there to like, oh, this band is here, like that kind of thing. So technically, yeah, that's really it.
What did you think of Beyonce?
I mean, that was awesome. That was an awesome night. Jermaine Dupri actually was really nice on when he was DJing, but before it was actually pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's Beyonce. Come on, it's awesome. It
What
was
do
a good
you
show.
think? What do you think has stopped you from attending more concerts?
Just wasn't like back in the day. Like one, my mother was super controlling back in the day. So like she was like, "No way! Like you're not fucking going. There's no way you're going, and you're gonna get drunk and you're gonna get high." So then that was there. Then I mean, I was just flat broke forever. Like I felt like there was a large portion of my life in which decisions were made. Like I need to have enough to eat here, and I need to make this going because my mom wasn't giving me any money, or I was just barely scraping by. So like going to a concert, I'd rather go somewhere, be slightly tipsy before I go to that place and go. And then unlike you fellas, dancing was a huge part of my life. So like for me, it was just I'd rather just go out and dance salsa and merengue all night long
Mhm.
because it was way cheaper. I could listen to really good music, and once in a while there'll be a live band. But then I literally would go somewhere and dance all night long, just all night long. And for me, like the concert experience, like I didn't want to sit there sometimes and just like sit there and be a passive listener. Like I really didn't like it. Or the other thing happens, like what if I go into the salsa band? I'm gonna want to get up and dance. Like there's not a part of me that just wants to sit and passively watch it. Or even a great merengue band, like one of those. Like one time I went to go see. You're not gonna know this, but Oro Solido in Allentown one time, and like the concert was there, and like there were people like all up in front. Like I didn't want to do that. I wanted to hear the music and then dance, with the prettiest girls I could that night. That's what it was for me. Like I didn't really want to go to a concert.
Devin, what was your high school music experience like?
Well, there's two things. One is I wasn't myself listening to a lot of music that was current at that time, but I was friends with people who were. And then the second thing is for whatever reason, Rochester had one or two venues that drew really, really good acts. So like a disproportionate number of people who were on big national tours would come through Rochester. And this small venue called Water Street Music Hall, or before that, the Horizontal Boogie Bar. One up from that, I swear to God, it was called the Fillmore, but I know there's already a bunch of those.
Yeah.
And then at the War Memorial, which was a hockey arena, the big acts would come through. So I would tag along with people, and I saw a lot of really unbelievable shows there. And then the other thing was there's a huge folk festival in Rochester or outside Rochester. And I was big into folk music. And so I did see some folk legends of a generation that is pretty much no longer with us before they all died. So that was pretty cool.
Hmm. It's interesting having this conversation now, because one of the things I did in New York was I met up with a friend from high school who I certainly haven't seen in 25 years, and have only recently like reconnected with, like over the last couple of years, just like kind of DMing back and forth on Instagram. But he was like a dude who was the bass player in my high school punk band, which was like I grew up in like the Philadelphia and Southeast PA, like Westchester, Pennsylvania punk rock scene that kind of like encompassed like northern Delaware and like southern New Jersey as well. Like at the time, which was like this like crazy, like rich vein of local punk bands, like a pretty big scene that did not exist in similar urban places throughout the country. And I was like too young to be doing it at the time. And he was 2 grades younger than me. So it was like, we were like, I was like 16, 17. He was like 14, 15, and there was like one other of us. And we were like driving into Philly or taking like the R5 on SEPTA into Philly in like 1994, 1995, 1996 to see punk shows or like play punk shows. And we were talking about like, there used to be a venue in West Philly. It was on like 30th and Baltimore, something like that. I don't know, it was called Stalag 13. And we were playing with a band called Lime Cell, which at the time was like a big deal. And they were like in their 30s, like these really like they were drinking and they were like
I
big,
love Longtail.
like right. It's like, we all remember Lime Cell. Big hit back in 95. With like head tattoos and shit. And we were like 15, like, and there was like piss on the floor. And like we'd never seen anything like that before. So it's like I was going to shows like that long before I should have, or maybe anyone should have. Like maybe no one should have gone to
You were
shows like that.
drumming?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you were
So
bringing the kit with you?
at that particular show, yeah, I brought the kit with me. It's like driving the whole kit. That kit that like your son now has been like it was at this show I'm describing like 30 years ago. But yeah, it's like that's I came up like going to live music. Like I think I was kind of late to my first concert. I want to say maybe even my first concert at the time I thought was like I was like, man, everybody else has been to a concert but me. And I was like 15 or 16. I think it was like Lollapalooza in 95, maybe. But like back then I saw all kinds of like big acts like Metallica, and I saw Kiss at the at the time. I saw Dave Matthews Band. Um, but yeah, but like in between all these big shows, just going to like punk venues.
Deep white cuts right there. Metallica, Dave Matthews Band. Like, oof.
Yeah, deep white lore, 90s white lore.
Did you want to finish the story about your friend? Did
Oh,
you have more to say about
it was. I'll just say. I mean, like it was great to see him. Um, I'm not someone who like reconnects with people from my past like ever. And he was someone who kind of from a distance looked like he'd had a pretty interesting life since we graduated. He's been kind of lived all over the world, and he travels for music. So he goes to London to see Pearl Jam, or he'll go to this, some other place to see like, Nas or something like that. So he was an interesting person to like, reconnect with around the time of this conversation. And the coolest part, and maybe coincidentally,
Bring it.
um,
Bring it. Connect us.
our boy Devin shows up on Saturday morning when we're going to go see Spurs at Flannery's on West 14th in Manhattan with our like 7-inch vinyl record that he bought on the internet, maybe the last surviving copy on the internet that you can purchase from like 1995, that me and my boy John, who I met with, the other day, and wherever Brian Nooning, wherever you are, he was the third member of Crop Circle Terrorists. And so now I have one of these records somewhere in my house. I don't know where it is, but for this to show up at the same time that, I saw my boy John.
Yeah, Jay told me the day before. He's like, "Yeah, I'm getting lunch with a bassist from my band." I wanted to tell him so bad. I was like, "Guess what? I'm bringing you tomorrow." But it's like, no, okay, I'll wait. It was good timing.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Real kismet stuff.
It's like we're
It,
friends.
so this was a complicated match.
Yes, it was.
I want to ask you, does it feel like a win?
100%. 100% a win.
100% it feels like a win.
100% a win.
Okay.
Like
I'll take
that
the other
game,
side of that. I mean, I'll let you talk, but like I'm going to take the other side of that argument.
2-1, 2-1, 2-1, and then to be so disappointing for 45 to 50 minutes of that game. I mean, to be really disappointing. Like, not create any chances, really miss Kevin De Bruyne, really miss Rodri, because all those shots that you saw Diaz and Akanji and Walker taking should have been those two guys just firing missiles in. And the strategy never changed. And then it looked like I had resolved myself, because I even said that I thought Arsenal played a great game. I thought they played a great second half in terms of like they were very disciplined. They knew what they were going for. They were just going to spend 50 minutes defending. Mikel Arteta just decided that that's what they're going to do. They weren't going to try anything else. They were just going to defend, and it had worked. And then all of a sudden, of all people, Jackie Boy comes off the bench, makes a good move, makes a smart decision to take the quick corner, and all of a sudden, losing 2 points in a game that would have like defined like this is the Arsenal, this is how Arsenal starts it. We lost to a 10-man team. All of a sudden, we take a point, and it's like nothing happened. It's like nothing happened. And if we go over there and we tie, and we tie the Emirates, It just comes down to the same thing, right? How did you do against the league compared to how we go? We'll do against the league, and guess what? I'll take my chances. I'll take my chances there. So that's why it becomes a win, even though it was 2-2, and we probably should have won that game.
I feel like if you come into that game and think we're happy with a draw, then okay, be happy
I don't
with.
think that's why. Well, we did not come in like that. That we wanted to draw, and I wouldn't have
Okay,
thought that there.
okay.
It changes.
So
It changed throughout the game.
so coming into that match thinking we are trying to win because we're at home, we want to continue to put our stamp on this league or
Score
whatever,
first.
and to score first, to go down 2-1 at the half, to play the entire second half up a man and only eke out a draw at the death, when you back away from like the emotion of the moment, that does not feel like a win to me.
Can I throw one more in this for you though?
You can say whatever you want, man.
It absolutely crushed them. It absolutely crushed them.
Yep. No, that's a good point.
That's the win. That's the win. The win is you came in there, you did everything you could. You almost, I mean, they had 3 points in their hand. It's not like they felt like, oh, it's a draw. You know, it's like, oh, it's always the case that draws are never the same. You never come out with a draw feeling the way you did. If you guys had a 3-3 draw based upon what you did in that game, you'd be this would be a completely different podcast. But all of a sudden, we went from being down and 2 goals that one was a I don't even think it was a shot, but it was off of a horrible decision, which we'll get into Michael Oliver in a second. Like it gets into that, and then Gabrielle, school ground mistake that we made to give up a goal. All of a sudden, like we were down, we were out of it, and then we get this red card, and then all of a sudden we get there, and then we can't score, and we not making any plays or not making any good adjustments, and we're just gonna lose, and then all of a sudden, one goal changes the. I mean, they were chirping really bad but right at the end of that game. They were like really, really, really going at it because they were just feeling themselves. And then all of a sudden, one thing changes, and like I mean, you can see, Gabriel's got his jersey over to him, and then he got hit with a ball, and we'll talk about that later too. But it just turned into like they were just absolutely gutted. They couldn't believe what happened to them. And guess what? We walk away. We tie. Okay, fine. We didn't take the three, but we'll take the tie. At least we didn't lose. And now we just bring that to the next one. I mean, that's how you win a championship. Just like sometimes you gotta steal it. Sometimes it looks like Holland scores 3 goals and we look incredible. And then sometimes we steal a 2-2 and we snatch 2 points away from somebody.
And not just somebody. I mean, the
Yeah,
team
I
most
mean,
likely to beat you.
yep.
Holland bounces the ball off of Gabriel's head.
You're already smiling. You get like you're awful. You're already smiling.
I love it so much. Like I understand that it is not sportsmanlike, and it is not respectful.
He should have got a yellow, by the
He
way.
should have gotten a yellow.
100%.
And they looked. I guess they looked at it after the game, and they're like, no further action on this.
No mas.
The thing
Say
is,
the
like,
say but. Come on.
of course, there's a but. Like there are moments like there's a whole. I mean, look, we are all Americans, and at least Benny and I grew up like in the American baseball tradition, which sort of teaches us that you respect your opponent and
We'll
you
tip your
you
cap.
tip your cap, you hit a home run, and you put your head down, you run around the bases, and you high five your teammates, and you quietly, respectfully go back in the dugout. Or if you strike somebody out, whatever, you go back to the dugout. And there's this new generation of
Please bring it up. Say it.
right of baseball players that like They will absolutely pimp every single home run they hit, and every time they strike somebody out, they're staring people down and they're pumping their fist and they're screaming into the opposing dugout. And all of this, I mean, the pinnacle moment of all of this, which, like, what I wanted to ask all of you is, like, what are your favorite, to the degree that you can remember these, what are your favorite disrespectful sports moments? Your Allen Iverson stepping over Tyronn Lue moments. Because for me, I don't even remember what year it was, 2014, 2015, Jose Bautista, Toronto Blue Jays against the Texas Rangers,
That bat is
um,
still in orbit.
which, like, if you haven't seen it, it's the craziest inning of baseball I've ever seen in my life, and that's saying something. And I happened to see this game live. I was like home, working from home or something. I was just sitting on the couch on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. It was the middle of the afternoon, and I watched this entire Blue Jays Rangers game, culminating with Jose Bautista's, I would think, game winning, or at least like put the Blue Jays ahead home run, where like he threw the bat so far and the camera was shaking so much in the stadium. It was like such a rejection of baseball tradition in that moment. And I think there was a before that moment and an after that moment, like in baseball. And like, I'm not saying that what Holland did with the ball is like that, but like these moments live forever if you do them right. And if you end up winning in the end. And like if City goes on to win the title, this will be like it'll be like a little haha moment in like the highlight package at the end of the season. And if they go on to lose the title, it will absolutely go down as like a memorable moment where like, man, Holland really showed himself to be a clown in that moment because Arsenal went on to win the title and yada yada yada. So like, yeah, you can like put your head down and run around the bases after after you hit the game running home run, and no one will remember that you did that, or you can stand there for a second and look at it and chuck your bat and look into the dugout and scream your head off and be a legend.
Devin, you need to go first on this. Do you have any of these moments? Do you know of any of these moments? Is there something that's like
Exactly one.
on the tip of your tongue?
Yeah, just one. It's Ali standing over Sonny Liston. It's the only one I got. And it's the only one I really care about because number one, it's an incredible photograph. Number two, there's so much more than sports happening in that picture.
Mhm.
It cuts so far beyond a fight. And that's why I like it. The ones that are like self-contained just exist in the context of that match or that team season. I'm against it. I think people should politely jog back to their own half,
No.
gingerly give the ball to the opposition and move along.
Place it on the floor.
That's right.
Don't even, just roll it back. Just roll it back.
Yeah.
This is an incorrect take. Just so you know. This is the wrong take. It's absolutely not the way it should be. I'm glad you brought up Batista. Dominican baseball players have been holding it back the entire time. They were ready for the floodgates to open, because if you've ever seen a Dominican baseball game or a Caribbean baseball game, it is animated, it is loud, it is aggressive, it's in your face, and the whole point is that I am going to disrespect you because this is a competition. So that's where I'm going to start from. Wait, that's it? There's only the Sonny Liston one? There's nothing else? There has to be like a
Everything else I'm opposed to.
that's so wrong. All right, Jay, here's the list. You
Yep.
took two of mine.
I got one for you if it's not on your list, but keep going.
Iverson step over, obviously.
Yep.
The Batista bat flip, obviously. It's incredible. Any of the 5 to 6 Sean Kemp poster dunks, most of them over Chris Gatling, because they
Poor
are
Chris Gatling.
incredible. And a lot of pointing and a lot of shit talking is happening when it's happening. The look any point guard or guard gives another person when they make them touch the earth on a crossover. That look over, just like I'm in my dribble, but then I look back just to check that you're still on the floor, and then I usually take the jumper right after. Incredible, absolutely incredible. Um, a shared moment, Jay, for us, because it not only is it a Dominican one, it is a classic baseball one. Uh, that is anytime you get a Pedro Martinez fastball right in the middle of your back because you stepped out the previous pitch. Unbelievable. Because you knew because it literally was the catcher did not have to give the sign. Soon as you step out and you make him like mess up his rhythm, it was like next pitch is coming straight in between your numbers. Like just 100% gonna happen.
I
Football
will say
fans,
that you
go
you
ahead.
coming into my life, and then several years over the course of the next few years, Pedro Martinez, Manny Ramirez, and David Ortiz coming into my life,
The
I
Holy
think
Trinity.
makes really
En el
makes
nombre
me
del
like an
Padre y del Espíritu
honorary
Santo.
honorary Dominican. Anyway, please continue.
Anytime a American football team scores 70 on another obviously you're just running it up, and obviously you don't care about the other people.
Hmm.
That's there. Football chants to opposing play. I'm talking about soccer. Soccer chants uh, against opposing players and managers. Like that whole culture is incredible. I send those memes out as soon as I get them.
Hmm.
I support those.
Anything. Wait. You say you didn't support it?
Not on the field. The fans should
Oh,
do
the
what they want.
fans. Okay, that's
Yeah.
the distinction. Okay. Um, Sprinters pulling up at the end of a race, just disrespectfully. You see, Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt probably could have shaved off another like a quarter second on any of his times,
Yep.
just because he just pulls up. And then Shikari did it in the Olympics when she looks over.
I got two moments.
Give it
One
to
is
me.
you missed the greatest dunk of all time, the most disrespectful dunk that there's ever been in any basketball game, which is Vince Carter over Frederick Weiss in the 2000 Olympics. Um,
I
He
know that
jumped.
one.
yeah,
He
I mean,
jumped.
of course you know that one because it's the greatest dunk of all time.
He jumped over a 7 foot man.
I think 7'2". I want to say it was 7'2", and he cleared him like crotch over face.
I
Destroyed
just want to say
destroyed the confidence of a Nick draft pick. By the way,
that guy was not standing up all the way straight. People don't talk about that enough. I
He
know.
wasn't, but he wasn't like ducking though.
His head was kind of down. His back isn't like, fully upright. I don't think he's 7'2" in that moment.
you want him. You want him. You want him upright. You
I
want him
want them to
not.
do like Zapruder film analysis on that to see how high Carter got. Like Carter could have got over a 6'7" guy. I want that number public. I want it
He's
known.
also like
Six
he's
ten and a
also
half.
he has to be outside of the circle, so he's trying to take the charge. So he's not just it's not like he jumped under him, he jumped over him and he's like right under the rim. He had to like clear some he had to go like Y and X to get to the rim.
I'm not saying it's not a great dunk. It's not for me to say. I'm just saying the guy's not 7'2" in that moment.
This is a wonderful take. I love this.
Fucking hater ass hater. The other moment is one I was there for. 2013 Pittsburgh Pirates wild card game against the Cincinnati Reds. Johnny Cueto on the mound for the Reds. Russell Martin at the plate for the Pirates. Uh, I think there was a man on base. Crowd starts chanting the old school, like the classic baseball, like jeer, Cueto, Cueto. And you can hear it on TV. It's just like echoing around Pittsburgh. Um, Cueto drops the ball. Crowd laughs at him. Ball rolls off the mound. He like hops down, grabs it, comes back up, starts rubbing the ball, resets himself. Again, Cueto, Cueto. Next pitch, Russell Martin hits it into the left field bleachers. Place goes bananas. That's the craziest. That's probably also like the craziest like individual sports moment I have ever seen like in person. Uh, but certainly disrespectful from the crowd and maybe even from Russell Martin to take advantage of him in that vulnerable moment.
I did think of one, and I don't remember the full context, but at some point there was a video of Shaq at a party.
Oh, the
And
Kobe, the
yeah,
yep,
and I just remember he was like freestyling or something, and the refrain was Kobe, tell me how my ass tastes.
that's right.
And that for the just utter kind of like absurd over the top and it's not on the court, I'm fine with it.
We are currently seeing in the Chicago White Sox, like probably the worst baseball team we've ever seen in our lifetimes.
They still have like 6 games, don't they?
Yeah, with 120 losses, I think currently on the roster or on the out in the standings, which is nuts. I mean, we haven't even seen anything close to that, and like they're not even done yet. Anyway, what I was going to ask is, in honor of the worst, possibly the worst sports team we've ever seen, what's the worst TV show you currently watch?
I'm considering, after a lifetime of avoiding anything like this, looking at this new Bachelorette that is about like older people. I
No,
believe it's called The
you are
Golden
not.
Bachelorette.
Stop lying. You're not
I'm
thinking
thinking
about
about it. I want to know. What is love like at that age? I want to know.
it. No, you
What are
don't
people
want to
looking
know.
for? What's that?
No, you don't want to know. You don't want to know that. You don't
I
actually
want to
want to
know.
see
What are people looking for at that age in a partner? When the kids are grown, I mean, I guess I could ask you, Benny.
I'm trying to think of what's horrible that I watch right now, though. I think most of the stuff that I'm watching right now is good.
You
Like
have
I'm watching.
occasionally questionable taste.
Well, give me one. I don't have any
So
questionable. What am I watching that's questionable? It's
I
almost the
said you
same
have
thing that
occasionally
you're
questionable
watching.
taste. I think your taste in TV shows is probably better than your taste in movies.
My taste in movies is wonderful. I
I like
watch a
I
lot
like
of good and bad movies, and I appreciate some of the bad ones.
I find Benny and I have similar taste in movies. What's the bad on Benny's side? What's a bad movie that Benny likes?
I think Benny will go see every big major market movie and like appreciate it for the big popcorn spectacle that it is, no matter how good or bad or whatever it is. Whereas like I drew a line at that at some point.
Yeah, okay. I don't go for all of those. That's
Yeah.
true.
And Benny goes for literally all of them. Like goes to the theater literally to see every single one of them.
I will because I just want to see them as intended. I want to see them as intended, but I don't like them all.
The
No,
worst show I watch is Emily in Paris. It's one of those shows where like it's absolute garbage, and I will watch every single episode that they ever make as soon as they release it. As soon as we're done recording this podcast, I'm going to go downstairs and we're going to watch Emily in Paris.
what do you do? Oh, you know what I watched? That was really bad. Like worst roommate ever. Worst
Mm.
roommate ever. Like on Netflix. It was like some documentary about like the worst things. 30 minutes into episode 1, I was like, "What am I doing here?" And
Mm-hmm.
then Stacey and I were like sick, and we were on episode 5. Like it was done. Like we had. I was like, I can't believe I got sucked into this. I can't believe the algorithm won.
The algorithm always wins.
It always wins.